Same take of the HiBREW H10B espresso machine. So this actually comes with a fairly thick manual. That's interesting. So it actually has suction cups on the bottom, so it'll make sure that it stays wherever you want it. That's pretty cool. I really like that stainless steel look on it. I do appreciate they put on this tape so I don't have to worry about anything slamming around in shipment. So here is our water container. It does have a valve on the bottom, so you can load this up with water. You don't have to worry about water draining out whenever you're carrying it to and from the espresso machine. I really like this actually has a pressure gauge on the front. Most of these consumer grade espresso machines do not have that. So this is a 2-prong plug, so that will plug into a normal household outlet. So here is our portafilter. We can see it already has a filter installed. So nice fine mesh there on the bottom, all going out through a single hole. Then in the bottom we have another filter to make sure we're not getting any grains in our espresso, and that's going out a 2-spout nozzle. We have a second filter. They look about the same size. It looks like these are both 2-cup. Yeah, we can see the bottom on here, it says 2-cup. The big difference is this is going to allow the espresso to spread out evenly. This is going to force it all throughout one hole. And if you don't want a double shot, we also have a filter for a single shot. Here is our tamper tool, and we also have a coffee scoop. So the entire pan is removable. We also remove our grate, and it looks like we have a float. Essentially, if this thing fills up too much, this little red indicator will pop out the center of this grate to let you know that you need to dump that out. And it looks like we got a good design here too. Make sure that is always going to line up evenly. This is interesting. It says we actually have a cup warmer right here on the top. So if we want to warm up our cup before we pour our espresso, we can just drop it right on there. It's very neat. That's something you definitely do not normally get with an espresso machine. This is nice. We actually have a little flag here, so this is letting us know that we got this red silicone cap. We don't have to worry about anything getting into the machine in shipment. So I cleaned out the water container, and we have it filled up to the max line. Can see we have a minimum line as well, so we don't want to make an espresso if we are below that line. And that will just drop into the back. So another thing I could appreciate, they actually put a little silicone grip on here for the steaming wand. So if you want to move that around, you can do that without actually having to grab the hot metal. On the side we have a knob for our steam and our water. So we got a little indicator right here, and this is how we would turn it on. On the top we got our power button, we got our single espresso, double shot, and then steam. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And it looks like we do have a decent display on there. So right now it is preheating. It's going to take it about a minute. I'm going to let that run and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so that was actually quicker than a minute. It was about 20 seconds. On the display, it does look like it is kind of flickering a little bit. That is due to the frame rate on the camera. On the actual display, it looks nice and solid to the eye. So first thing we want to do, if we want to, we can press the power button and the single. Hold that 2 seconds. And that will adjust to Fahrenheit or Celsius. I prefer Celsius, so I'm going to put it back to Celsius. So now we're just going to clean everything out. It says we can run this guy just by turning the knob all the way up, and the hot water that's coming out is going to basically disinfect it. So we got continuous hot water. I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. Now we can put in the portafilter. I do like that nice physical stop on there. So there is no second guessing if you've gone far enough. Now we're going to hit the double shot. We're going to clean out the portafilter and the cup. And we can see that the pressure gauge is reading. So very nice having that on there. And if we want to make steam, we're going to hit the steam button. Okay, and the steam light is now solid. So if we turn this guy up, we are now making steam. Excellent. So it says we can also set the coffee temperature, the coffee pre-brew time, and the coffee volume. Not just a matter of pressing and holding the correct buttons. I'm going to try just the defaults, and I'm going to use some of Pete's medium roast. So the key to a good espresso is getting a good tamper. Put in just a little more. So if you squeeze too lightly, the espresso is going to be too thin. It's going to just taste like a thinned out espresso. If you press too hard, then it's going to be bitter. I personally like it to be a little bit on the thin side, so I'm not going to go crazy with the pressure. And we'll make a double shot. Okay. And that is quite attractive. And it tastes awesome as well. Okay, so let's steam some milk. I'm using 2% milk, so this is not going to be ideal for this, but it will work. First thing I want to do is purge. There we go, just to make sure we got steam. And we want to put it so the nozzle is submerged in the milk and give it a little bit of a rotation. And give it a little air, just so that we are getting rid of that squealing sound. And we'll let it go. Keep our hand on the milk. It starts getting hot, then we will stop. Okay. And we want to clean this guy off. Make sure that we are tapping and stirring. And give it a little pour. And there we go. Very good. So if you're looking for a simple espresso machine, that is going to be an excellent option.